There have been lockdowns at multiple HBCUs across the country due to potential threats. One of those is Virginia State University, another Hampton University. Hampton University has canceled classes for September 11th and September 12th due to a, quote, potential threat. Students are urged to limit movement to essential needs only. So that is currently what's happening at Hampton University and at multiple HBCUs across the area. Now, we have a reporter on scene as we speak who we are going to get in touch with as soon as we can. Brianna Fallon is actually on scene at Hampton University. She's been talking to officials about what's going on at the school in terms of this lockdown. Classes are canceled for Thursday, September 11th, today, and for Friday, September 12th, after notice of that potential threat to campus. Now, what we're going to do now here on the stream is we're going to try to give Brianna a call. Brianna, again, reporting on this story as we speak. When reporters work, you never know when they are going to have to run to an interview or a press conference or a scene for coverage. But we're going to see if we can give her a call and see if we can potentially talk to her a little bit more about what she's learned today. So bear with us while we try to give a call to Brianna Fallon here. All right, we have Brianna Fallon here talking to us live from Hampton University campus. Brianna, say hello to our live Impact News audience.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your busy day. You and our photographer, Jason Walsh, have been working this story all day. We know that classes are canceled for Thursday and Friday. What else can you tell us about this story at Hampton?
Yeah, we've been out on the campus since about 11 this morning. When we first got here, there were checkpoints pretty much at every light, every entrance of the campus between Hampton Police and Hampton University Police, kind of making sure only essential personnel were getting onto the campus. And if not, you were rerouted, that whole area. Now, we've since moved towards more of the front of the campus, and there we saw that most of those checkpoints kind of went away. But again, the campus is still closed today, and it will remain closed through tomorrow due to a credible threat. Now, we did talk to the Hampton University Chief of Police, David Glover, and he was not able to go into detail about the actual threat itself, but he did mention, that this threat is a credible threat that, state and local, as well as, just government agencies are all kind of coming together to try and, figure out what happened here. But again, he did mention when he was talking to us that right now their utmost important number one priority is to make sure that students and anyone on campus is safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Safety paramount in a situation like this. And we know students and staff urged to limit movement to essential activities only. Were you able to get any more of an idea on what an essential activity would entail?
Unfortunately, no. So they were not taking any questions. But we do know, as I mentioned, that classes are canceled between today and tomorrow. And if students do not live on campus, they did put out in their statement saying that, don't come to campus, pretty much. If you don't live on campus, don't come onto campus, just because they're trying to limit campus activity as much as possible. And just to that note, even, we were in the student center earlier for the interview we did with the chief, and you could kind of see how there were still, some cups on the tables. People just you could tell they left in a hurry.
And that's even just you describing that student center now, not to mention a college campus on a Thursday in September being totally empty. I mean, what is it like driving around a campus that should be just crawling with students starting their school year, and instead it's just empty and I suppose, more law enforcement than actual students or staff?
Yeah, for sure. It was practically a ghost town, to be completely blunt about it. We might have saw, a student or two getting off campus. But besides that, we really didn't see anyone. And even in the student center, they were actually set up for some sort of celebration. It looked like they had a stage set up, they had decorations up, and obviously, those plans did not come to fruition today.
Yeah, absolutely. And the beginning of the school year is supposed to be such a joyous time. You're back with all your friends, you're starting new classes, you're meeting new people, and instead just unrest sort of in all these university campuses. Now, are you just focused on Hampton University? Have you done any reporting around the Virginia State closures or anything potentially at Norfolk State, another HBCU in our area?
So just focusing here on Hampton University. However, I was speaking with a spokesperson earlier before interviewing the chief, and one of the things she mentioned to me was how, other other HBCUs in the area and across the country, are also getting similar threats. So that's as far as we've gotten onto, the other universities, but they definitely, mentioned and acknowledged that they're not the only one facing threats today.
Yeah, definitely a scary time. And when can we see you on 13 News Now television today? I'm sure you're doing this story in a number of our shows.
Yes, for sure. So we'll have more information, the full story at 4, 5, and 6 today with more, information from the chief from our interview earlier.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Brianna. Is there anything else you want to add before we let you go?
No, I'd also add that they did mention that later today they're going to kind of regroup, university police, other officials in the university, along with other agencies to kind of talk about their next course of action here. So hopefully we'll have an update later. I'm not 100% sure if they're going to be able to get anything out to us about that, but just another thing to mention there.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brianna. We really appreciate you taking the time away from putting all your stories together to talk to us on Live Impact News. And be safe out there, and we'll see you on television.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Brianna. All right, that's our Brianna Falla reporting from Hampton University campus. And, what really stuck out to me about that report is her talking about just kind of how spooky it is on campus. You see cups and remnants of students who are in the midst of living their lives at school, starting their school year, and now fear, lockdown, evacuation, and it just really, really puts into perspective how scary this is for people every day trying to live their lives, and they are interrupted by threats of violence in the midst of a time of incredible unrest in the United States of America in general, and now it appears as though HBCUs under the microscope getting a number of potential threats. And now we mentioned Norfolk State University while we were speaking with Brianna, and we actually did get an email from Norfolk State. I'll read it to you now verbatim here. They said Norfolk State University has not received any direct threats to the safety or welfare of the campus. However, the administration is monitoring the situation and working with local and state agencies to ensure that the campus community remains safe. State resources, including state police, have been mobilized to provide additional security support to the campus, and the NSU Police Department urges the campus community to be vigilant and to report any suspicious activity.